Hi, everybody. My name is Tane Danger. I am often the host of a thing called Hey, Where Does This Bus Go? Where I take a bus on Metro Transit and we find out where it goes. It's very fun and I love it. Fun fact, I'm also a very proud member of the LGBTQ plus community. And it is Pride Month, June 2021. And so Metro Transit asked if I would do a little conversation with a batch of folks that work for or are connected with our wonderful Metro Transit agency here, who are also part of that community, just about the intersection of being part of the LGBTQ community and caring about transit. And I think that it is a wonderful, really cool, really fun thing. And they made these fabulous virtual backgrounds for us. So, I mean, how could we say no? So, I'm very excited, and I've got this wonderful panel here of folks to talk to us. So, I'm going to ask each of you to just maybe say your name, your pronouns if you like, and what your job title or connection with Metro Transit is here today. So I'm going to just go around the way that it is on my screen, which most of us have learned over the last year and a half. Doesn't mean that that's the way that it is on your screen. But here we go. David, do you want to kick us off because you're the first top person on my screen?
Absolutely. My name is David Hanson. I am the Assistant Director of Field Operations here at Metro Transit for the bus side. I go by the pronouns him and his. And I've been here for 24 years. I found it a very welcoming environment in which to be part of the community and to share our experiences and to have these interactions and connections. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, David. We're going to come back to you. Up next, again, my screen is Nathan. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, Tane, how's it going?
Pretty good.
So I'm Nathan Bakken. I use he, him, his pronouns. I work in the Transit Information Department at Metro Transit. I help people plan bus trips and light rail trips all throughout the Metro. It's a blast.
That is fun. I feel like my whole Hey, Where Does This Bus Go show would have been not a series if I had just called you. You would have just told me where they all go. Okay, I gotta keep moving. All right, Heidi. Hi, Heidi. Do you want to say hi next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Heidi Wrenson. My pronouns are she, he, or they. I'm non-binary, all of the above. I am a district supervisor in street operations for Metro Transit, and I came out as queer in high school, and I've been exploring my non-binary self for about 10 years.
Very cool. Thank you so much for being here. Marissa, hello down there.
Hi. My name is Marissa. I am a bus operator. I've been with Metro Transit a few years. My pronouns are she, they, them. I am a transsexual, and I'm more trans non-binary.
Thank you so much for being here, Marissa. And then last but certainly not least, rounding out today's lineup, Councilmember Robert Lilligren. Can you say hello?
Yeah, thanks, Tane. Great to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Lilligren. I am the Metropolitan Council member for District 7. That's part of the Metro government. I represent South Central Minneapolis, downtown to the river, North Loop, all of North Minneapolis, in Robbinsdale, and of course Metro Transit, or Metro Council operates Metro Transit.
That's very cool. You're missing the very cool background that all the rest of us have. Do you want to try turning it on?
Do you want to see it? There.
Oh no, that's terrible. It's okay. We want to see your face.
I think I just have that much more pride. I think I have that much more pride.
That's good. Okay, so thank you all so much for being here. I'm really delighted to get to meet each of you. I know a couple of you have already actually started talking about this. Actually, maybe I'll start with you, Heidi, because you kind of started to give us a little bit of the story of sort of your journey coming to be part of this community. As you said, sort of discovering your identity and exploring that, and just what that's looked like for you.
Well, it helps because I'm older. So with being older, you have a lot more confidence. You don't worry about a lot of the small things. And I've been queer my entire adult life, and I've been out and queer my entire adult life. So it has given me an opportunity to not need people's approval. And that's an enormous amount of freedom.
So I think this is really interesting because this is one of the things that I've tried to say to straight friends that I know about coming out, is that it is this really scary thing when you do it.
Very.
And then you do it and you know, do it and it's like really scary. And then you're like, oh, now I'm on the other side of that. And you have a different kind of confidence or sense of self than you did before. And it's a really unique experience, I think.
Absolutely. I'm from a small town in North Dakota, so I rejected everyone around me, just to protect myself. And then it was a matter of time before I realized, oh no, they're all supportive. My family has always been supportive. My parents, great. And even all my high school classmates growing up. So I have opened back up and let all that love in.
Nathan, can I bounce to you next? Would you be willing to share a little bit about your sort of journey and what this has been like for you?
Yeah, of course. So I came out when I was 17 in high school as gay. Like most people, I was very worried at first because I didn't think my parents would accept me for who I was, but I was completely incorrect about that, and they loved me to pieces. I was more worried about my father at the time, but actually I came out to him first, and it worked just fine. So I'm 27 now. So I've been out of the closet basically my entire adult life.
Okay, so we've had two now folks who kind of talked about coming out early in life and sort of that. I don't know. Does anybody, Robert, Marissa, David, was that the same for you? Did any of you have a different kind of trajectory that you came out later or did more of this self-discovery later for yourself?
Sure. Actually, I came out here at Metro Transit. I was married for 16 years to a woman, a wonderful spirit who remains a very good, dear friend of mine to this day. We are still very connected and still, we love each other. It's just that I am gay. And I discovered that probably in my 7th year as being an employee. I transitioned from being an operator into the transit supervisory position, much like Heidi holds now. And so everybody knew me as straight Dave, right? And now I'm gay Dave. So, and that was okay. We just roll with it. And I've made no bones about it. I've always had, like I said, I've shared earlier, great support here. I equate it to like having a sliver in your finger. When it's there, it hurts. And every time you bump it, it's like, dang, I got that sliver in my finger. Yeah, it still hurts. I'm still gay, right? And it isn't until I realized I had to pull and maybe go through a little pain to get that out of me that I could begin to heal as a person and become the person that I'm enjoying today. And I'm very grateful for that. So thank you.
I'm enjoying this person too. You're great. Marissa, you unmuted, so I'm taking that as a sign you were maybe going to jump in.
Yes, I was, but I was going to let Dave finish. I came out in like the early 2000s after moving to the Twin Cities to get help with being a trans and non-binary person. And I went to the U of M and they helped me out quite a bit.
That's very cool.
But I found out that I, could work at Metro Transit and still be myself.
I love that. Council member, do you want to round us out here?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. You can call me Robert, too. And I don't know if I said I go by he, him. And I wanted to note that this beautiful Pride lanyard was given to me by Metro Transit staff my first year on the council during Pride. So back in 2019, that's why I wore it today. In my experience with Hanson, I grew up in the far north metro in northern Anoka County. I never really had this big coming out. I sort of moved to the city at 18. I think I marched in my first Pride in 2019. I was 1979. Let me get my centuries right here.
I know that it's hard to keep track of time, but you lost quite a bit in there somewhere.
Right. So I was 19 years old, and so I came down here, found a very welcoming community. It wasn't a big sort of coming out, but it was a great relief to find community. And then in 2000, that was 2001, when I ran for the Minneapolis City Council, then I became out in sort of a big way. There were 5 gay male candidates running that year, and then there was sort of nowhere to hide then. And so that's when I sort of became a professionally gay person and really stepped up my activism, my visibility, and my involvement. But I just feel like, I came out in my teens, like several of you, and I've been very happy about that.
I think that that's a really big, important message that hopefully folks are watching as they get, is that it is scary and can be hard, as you were saying, David, but it is liberating. It's such a great word for it on the other end of it. Okay, we got to talk about transit. So, a couple of you have already said Metro Transit, very welcoming, affirming place to be who you are. Can I just ask if there are sort of examples or ways that is shown up for anybody here, either like on the actual, operations of the organization side, or also just in the work that you do and how you relate to customers and people that you see sort of on a daily basis?
It's like Metro Transit in general is very supportive. I've worked on the Pride Planning Committee before for Metro Transit, helping put together, like in 2019, the stuff we did for the Pride Parade, the booth in Mooring Park, and everything.
I appreciate that they put a thing out that said we should put our pronouns in our emails. And I kind of wish that was for everybody. I mean, everyone had the opportunity to do it, but not everyone took advantage of it. I also wish we could come up with a non-gendered ma'am or sir and use it.
I have been thinking about this. Because I am, as you might be able to tell, like I'm a very formal person and I really like using titles and things like that. And I was just recently like, oh, well, what is the non-gendered ma'am or sir? And I couldn't figure it out. This is our challenge before Pride 2022, is that we need to figure out the non-gendered ma'am or sir. And then we can all, by 2022, we can all go around and, be in the big crowds and keep calling each other ma'am or sir, whatever the non-gender version of that is that we come up with. Marissa, you're an operator. I mean, I'm just curious if there's any element of this that, again, comes up in sort of your work or that's challenging, or anything that I guess maybe you would want people who watch this to just know.
Well, I would just like people to just just don't use pronouns if you don't know what you're doing with them. Just all that can be so offensive. And it's like not everyone's real comfortable with pronouns, especially trans people. And I've run into a few on the routes that even told me that. And it's like people can just say hello and thank you or good morning or good afternoon, and that's just good enough. You don't have to use pronouns in every situation.
The word "you all," like I love that. You all, like, is very nice, very friendly, and non-gender. It's plural or singular. Does all kinds of work. Is there anything that we kind of want people to know? Robert, I'm going to go to you because you already identified yourself as a professional gay, and so I feel like it's like your job to have an answer.
No, I should have been better prepared for this question. And I'm also a transit rider. So regular transit user. And so, I think I'm also a member of the Native American community. I'm a citizen of the White Ojibwe Nation, and so we identify as Two-Spirit there. And just had some conversations with some of our Congresswoman, Ilhan Omar, just yesterday at the Urban Indian Community. And I would give kind of the same advice there. When you're part of these communities that had to hide so much of their identity for so long throughout our history, that really kind of becomes imprinted on you. Kind of the same with the Native community, where people sort of had to hide. And so what I told the Congresswoman, and I would tell our allies watching, is see us. Say something about us, talk about us, know us, acknowledge us. And it is so powerful. And, visibility is so important to our community. And so if we're going to run around being visible, being a professional gay all the time, it's really affirming and rewarding if someone actually sees that.
that is a beautiful notion. Thank you so much. David, I realized I kind of skipped over you before, so I'm coming back over to you. There's anything that you're kind of hoping folks watching this take home?
Yeah, the only thing that I go back to is don't judge, have an open mind, and be kind, and just engage. I mean, we don't levitate. We don't have magical powers. We are the same people that, whether we're gay or straight, non-binary or not. We are human beings. We're all on the same journey together. So let's just find that commonality and learn and grow from each other.
Now all I can think about is like, oh man, I wish when you came out, like you gained the power to levitate.
I tried.
That's too bad. But no, I think that this is beautiful, and I will say one of the reasons I love the bus and I love doing the hey, where does this bus go, is because you meet people on the bus. And one of the first ones we ever did, somebody said to me, oh, being on the bus every day, it's like sort of being part of a small town that exists for 30 minutes on my way to work every morning. And I think that that's a really neat lesson for all of us in just thinking about, as you were saying, David, like connecting with other people as people and trying to get to know them and talk to them, not making those assumptions and whatnot.
I wanted to just comment then on what Marissa and David said in terms of where Marissa's coming from. Show respect. You don't need to, and be kind. Be kind, because we are vulnerable people, and our outness makes us vulnerable. It also opens us up to the love that we can let in, but it also opens us up to the hate when we're visible. And be kind, because it makes a difference. It makes the world a better place.
Like this conversation and this community and the way that this community exists within the world has changed so dramatically in a lot of ways in just my lifetime, and in a way where I feel like it can be hard even to remember or think back on sort of like how dramatically different it was. That it was not a given, can we just say, 20 years ago that Metro Transit would give everybody like a rainbow background for they wouldn't have had Zoom calls back then, but a rainbow background for their landline phone calls that they were doing. So I'm just curious if anyone cares to reflect on sort of how that's happened, or that change over such a rapid period of time, and sort of how it feels now compared to maybe 20, 30 years ago.
It's a different world. It's an absolutely different world. You can't discount how some pieces of that old world still exist in small, isolated communities everywhere. So a young person coming out in an isolated rural community might be facing the exact same kind of things that I was facing, 40 years ago or whatever. But it's the sea change cannot be. It's just ginormous. And not to be Debbie Downer, but as it highlights the incredible patience that we have required of BIPOC people, because the queer community has gay marriage. We used to go to jail not very long ago. It's huge. In 50 years, we've gone from being jailed to being full-fledged members of society. So I think it behooves us to remember our allyship in the BIPOC community, so that we can fight for the change that is needed. That's 400 years late.
Yeah. And also, Tanya, it seems like it's really rapid, right? But all this progress was built on activism and risks that people generations before us took. So just to really acknowledge that we had a solid foundation to stand on. And so my life, Bridges, Stonewall, the sort of the AIDS epidemic, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the fight for marriage equality. So I'm old, so that seems like a pretty long time to me. But to see that kind of change, we really have to acknowledge that we're standing on the shoulders of people who really risked a lot so we could be here.
And to know that the fight's not over yet. It still exists. We can still lose our housing. We can still lose our jobs in some states of this great nation. And so we have to continue with our voices to be visible to our communities, to show them that we are talented, we are creative, we are in leadership, we're in the frontline workers. We are all of this. We are part of the rest of the fabric of this country as well. And we're just as important as everybody else is.
I think that there is something here for everyone. And a lot of the things that you all have brought to us in terms of opening ourselves up, connecting with each other, and letting love in are really beautiful things that I hope that we can all do together this month and going forward. And on a bus or a train, as appropriate, would be great.
Happy Pride,
Happy
y'all.
Pride.
Okay, happy Pride, everybody! All right,
Pride,
yay!
everybody. Happy Pride,
Let's announce,
everybody.
we're gonna all levitate away.